Hi, everyone, and welcome back to the Social Impactors podcast. Today we have Zach, who's the founder and CEO of Stashed, and he's going to give a little bit of an explanation about himself, about who he is, what he does, and why he believes he's a social impactor. So Zach, why don't we start with you?
Yeah, for sure. So my name is Zach, and just a little bit of background. I was a student at Wilfrid Laurier University, and while there I was just discovering what social entrepreneurship and social innovation meant. And my background was with the Social Innovation and Venture Creation department at the school, and being a student change maker with the campus allowed me to join programs like Ashoka, Acumen, and kind of work inside of the community with this interesting pilot project called City Studio, which was trying to bridge the gap between community, government, and private citizens. So it was all about fostering community engagement. And from there, I kind of realized that business has a social mandate and a mandate to be inherently social, because one, we operate in this world where not only should a corporation be sustainable through profits, but it has to be sustainable and ethical to the people it serves and the environments that it operates in. And those kind of cumulative discoveries led me to Stashed. And what Stashed is we're trying to disrupt the self-storage business. So you can think of us like an Airbnb for storage, where we're opening up communities and spaces to people who need space for their things. So whether it's, your winter tires if you're a condo dweller in Toronto and you need a place to put them, or if you have a kayak or a canoe and you're downsizing your house and you don't have a garage anymore and you need somewhere in a community to put those things. Stashed allows you to kind of find people who are willing to open up their homes to you. And it also allows them to make a little bit of side money from opening up their space to the community. And that's kind of what it's all about.
No, I love what you're doing with Stashed, and I love the statement you made back a little bit back where you said that business is socially conscious, right? Like it's socially driven. And I think that's something that's been a part of discussion for a while, but never really actioned, right? And so I like that there's that social mandate that's embedded into business now.
Yeah, I think for me, all businesses kind of have to have a social mandate embedded in them to even be a business, because one, if you're just for profit, then you're not for anything else. You're kind of in isolation in this world where everything is interconnected and dependent on one another. So Stashed even has an environmental aspect to it as well. One fact that we found is that self-storage units in America alone total 2.3 billion square feet.
Wow.
So there's 2.3 billion square feet of self-storage, and we're taking up the land, we're using electricity for climate control, and it's just to store your stuff. So Stashed kind of has an environmental aspect to it as well, where you don't have to build these cathedrals for things. You could just use underutilized space in the community, and it saves land and it saves energy as well.
Love it, man. Love it. So how are you then making that positive impact in your community? You said a little bit about Stashed, but what does that look like? With more, environmentalism, that's amazing, but what else are you doing with Stashed, or what are you doing in your personal life that's positive impact?
Yeah, so I think Stashed is inherently community-based, just from the business model. We're opening up people's homes, and we're facilitating conversations between neighbors who may have never seen each other, if not for storing their things in each other's houses. So we're fostering community through that, and that's really beautiful because people have an opportunity to interact with someone they may never meet, and that can foster a deep friendship. We're also creating community through the exchange of commerce. Money is flowing through one person to the next person, and it's kind of devoid of a corporation. So it's direct commerce, peer-to-peer, which is a community-based model, of course. For myself, I look at myself as a physical community builder. Back at Laurier, I was a director of Habitat for Humanity, and we would build homes in Kitchener-Waterloo, and we would also build homes in America. So we went to 3 different states to work in some of the poorest local cities in Florida, Texas, as well as Georgia, to help build community there.
That's awesome.
And I'm carrying that forward in Toronto with Habitat for Humanity in Toronto. So I'm looking at building communities in 2 ways: digitally through Stashed and facilitating interactions there, but also physically through Habitat for Humanity. Building homes and having that tangible thing I can see that I'm creating impact on is really important to me, actually.
I love that, man. No, that's amazing. That's awesome. So do you believe social impact is an important part of business then? I think you've kind of already explained that, but elaborate a little bit more on why you think it's important then.
Yeah, I think social impact is important for business because honestly, it seems to me like the only way forward. You know, we're dealing with extremely complex and increasingly complicated situations in this world in terms of what capitalism looks like for people, what the environment is shaping out to be because of capitalism and corporations. And I think people crave more. People crave a sense of belonging, and they want to feel like their dollars are being spent towards something good, inherently good. So for me, I view the next step forward in capitalism, the next evolution, as being conscious capitalism, and that's really when a business incorporates and really embraces all stakeholders involved. So people, planet, profit, but also community, and also the direct ecological impacts that it has. Also in terms of employee management. So how do you foster and grow your employees rather than look at them like human capital and make sure they all grow together? So for me, I think that is the next logical step of business, and it's inherently social, and to me the future seems social. So
the one statement that I really got out of that is you said it's the only way forward. And I couldn't agree with that more, that I think there has to be that social mandate embedded into business now. It's not just a piece they add on or a module, it's a necessity.
Yeah, I agree. And I think we as people, we can kind of see that inauthenticity when someone's trying to maybe greenwash something or say they're social, but really the heart of the business is not at all. So we as consumers, we as social impactors, we can sniff that out. We can tell really quickly.
Oh man. So the last question I got then is, for everyone watching, what is your advice for others to begin making an impact or a social impact in their communities?
My advice to anyone who is trying to be a social impactor or trying to get into the social impact space would just be to start where you are. In your local community, there's so many initiatives that are either underserved with talent or just undersolved. So I'd say start with where you are in your local communities, pursue whatever passion you may have to make a difference in the world. And it doesn't have to be anything extremely grand. It doesn't have to impact 1 billion people or 1 million. I think social change starts with the human, and that means one. So if you start with one, it can snowball into a much bigger effect. But to anyone who's looking to start, I'd say, look at the organizations in your community. See if you can volunteer. See if you can help with fundraising or get together with some friends and just solve that problem that's really bugging you, whether it's plastic or homelessness or food insecurity. Just start where you are. That would be my biggest advice.
Start where you are, man. I love that.
Start where you are. Yes.
Awesome. Well, Zach, thanks so much for being on the podcast and for being a social impactor. And what I'll do is I'll leave some of your information in the comments below too, and a little bit about Stash so people can see what you're doing. And for anyone else watching, tune in next week for the next social impactor. Thanks for being a part of it, Zach.
Cool, no problem, Avery. And if anyone wants to check it out, the website is www.storewithstash.com.
Awesome, man.
Yeah.
Perfect.
Thanks for having me. Really appreciate it.